Welcome back today. We're exploring two incredible examples of the Abraham Lincoln Wheat 1 penny that collectors around the world dream of owning. These coins, each with their own unique story and remarkable errors, hold extraordinary value. In today's auction market, the most valuable United States Abraham Lincoln Wheat 1 penny from 1944, also without a mint mark, but in a circulated condition showing an old rusty, dirty patina. This coin might appear less glamorous at first glance due to its surface condition, but it holds an exceptional position in the market with a similarly high valuation exceeding $400,000. The year 1940 marked an important period in American history, the final full year of World War II, with the Allies gaining momentum towards victory. Coinage production was affected by the war effort, with some materials being diverted and shifts in production processes. The 1940 Lincoln penny, like the 1949, was minted at Philadelphia and thus lacks a mint mark. Unlike later years, the 1940 pennies were predominantly struck on newly minted copper plankets. However, some of these pennies are famous for particular anomalies, including copper war pennies or unusual colorations due to improper plankets or environmental effects post-minting. Our featured 1940 penny is in circulated condition, showing heavy wear, rust, and a dirty old patina. Despite what some might see as damage or wear, this coin's value stems from its rarity and historical significance rather than pristine appearance. What makes the 1940 no mint mark Lincoln penny highly collectible is its association with a very specific error or variant, the copper composition in that year. During the war, most pennies were produced using a zinc-coated steel composition in 1943 to conserve copper. However, in 1944, copper plankets were again used, but some pennies from that year were mistakenly struck on leftover 1943 steel plankets or other composition errors. While our specific example is in circulated condition and rusty, such coins with a steel core or unusual planchet composition from 1940 are extremely rare and can bring astonishing values. Rust and dirt, while typically negative for coins, can sometimes indicate originality and authenticity, provided the coin is genuine and not artificially altered. The mintage for 1940 Lincoln pennies at Philadelphia was over 1.4 billion coins, making common circulated examples generally abundant and inexpensive. However, error varieties and rare planchet compositions stand apart. This coin's market value is driven by its error status and historical narrative. Collectors prize the 1940 pennies with unique attributes, and prices for error examples or those with confirmed steel or mixed metal plankets have been known to reach upwards of $410,000 or more at auction, particularly when verified by reputable grading companies. Collector interest in this coin is robust among those specializing in Lincoln cents, error coins, and wartime numismatics. The coin embodies the era's challenges and changes in U.S. minting policies and materials during World War II. It also appeals to those who appreciate the story behind the coin's surface wear and patina, which connects it to decades of history. In conclusion, this 1940 Lincoln Wheat penny without a mint mark, despite its rusty and dirty circulated condition, holds immense collector value because of its rarity, historical significance, and the fascinating story it tells about wartime coin production. Its high auction prices reflect how important provenance and rarity are in determining a coin's worth, even if the condition is not pristine. Most valuable United States Abraham Lincoln Wheat 1 penny from 1920, featuring the large date without a mint mark in circulated condition. This coin is not just a piece of metal, it is a tangible slice of American history that carries immense significance and an equally impressive auction value. The year 1920 sits at a crossroads in American history, just after World War I and amid the Roaring Twenties, a decade marked by rapid economic growth and cultural transformation. The United States was emerging as a global power, and the pennies minted during this era reflect the nation's sense of pride and progress. The 1920 Lincoln wheat penny was struck during this dynamic period, and though it appears to be a modest coin in circulated condition, it is anything but ordinary. What makes the 1920 large date no mint mark penny stand out so remarkably is its rarity and condition despite circulation. The coin was produced solely at the Philadelphia Mint, hence the absence of a mint mark, and its mintage numbers were relatively low compared to other Lincoln pennies of the era. The total mintage for this year was approximately 173 million coins. While this may sound like a large figure, the survival rate of quality specimens from this particular issue, especially in better grades, is remarkably low, increasing the demand among collectors. Design-wise, the coin carries the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner in 1909 to commemorate the centennial of Lincoln's birth. The obverse features Lincoln's profile facing right, his thoughtful gaze representing strength and resilience. The reverse showcases the classic wheat ears on either side, framing the words 1 cent and United States of America, which is why this series is affectionately known as the wheat penny. But what truly makes this coin a star in the collector's world is its large date variety. The large date refers to the size of the digits in the date imprint on the coin's obverse. In 1920, the Philadelphia Mint produced both large date and small date varieties, with the large date being far less common. This small but crucial difference appeals to numismatists who specialize in varieties and minting details. In terms of errors, the 1920 large date no mint marked penny doesn't have a widespread error type that would drastically affect its value, but some specimens do feature minor die cracks or die clashes that add to their uniqueness. However, the primary driver of this coin's astronomical value is its rarity in collectible grades and its historical significance. The condition of the coin plays a significant role in its market price. Even circulated specimens in good condition can command impressive prices, but the most valuable examples are those that have been well preserved, showing minimal wear while retaining sharp detail on Lincoln's face and the wheat ears on the reverse. Now, let's talk about the market value. As of today's auction market, a 1920 large date Lincoln wheat penny without a mint mark in circulated condition can fetch upwards of $400,000, with prices climbing higher for specimens in finer grades. This staggering figure is driven by a blend of historical importance, rarity, and collector demand, especially from investors seeking to diversify their portfolio with tangible heritage assets. Collectors value this coin not only for its intrinsic beauty, but for the story it tells about America's past, a symbol of perseverance through the economic highs and lows of the early 20th century. As such, it commands a premium at auctions, private sales, and among dedicated numismatic communities. Most valuable United States Abraham Lincoln wheat 1 penny from 1949, without a mint mark, featuring a rare and striking deep-cut error on the obverse side. This is no ordinary Lincoln penny. It is a true collector's gem with a value soaring well beyond $400,000 in today's auctions. The 1949 Lincoln wheat penny was minted in a post-war America that was rapidly evolving. The U.S. economy was booming after World War II, and Lincoln pennies were being produced in large quantities as a standard copper coin for everyday transactions. Yet, the 1949 penny without a mint mark indicating it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint stands out particularly because of a very limited number of examples exhibiting major die or striking errors. Among these errors, the deep cut on the obverse side of this coin is one of the rarest. Let's pause for a moment and imagine the process. The Lincoln wheat penny features the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, designed by Victor David Brenner and first introduced in 1909 to commemorate Lincoln's 100th birthday. The reverse shows the iconic wheat ears framing the denomination 1 cent and the words E pluribus unum. This design remained consistent through 1958, and many collectors are drawn to these early wheat pennies for their historical charm and rich patina. But the 1949 penny with this deep-cut error is extraordinary because of the manufacturing mistake it reveals. During the minting process, something went wrong with the die or the coin planchet. This resulted in a severe gouge or deep cut on the obverse side of the coin. Errors like this are not only visually dramatic, but they are extremely rare. Such die damage or cutting errors rarely survive the minting process because flawed dies are usually detected and replaced quickly. Therefore, any coin that bears this kind of deep cut error becomes a prized rarity. Collectors prize this error penny not only because it is unusual, but also because it represents a fascinating snapshot of the minting process and its imperfections. Such coins challenge the perfection typically associated with U.S. mint production and remind us that each coin has its own story, sometimes shaped by accident. When it comes to mintage, the 1949 Philadelphia Mint produced over 830 million pennies that year. However, only a handful with this deep-cut error are known to exist. This extreme rarity combined with the historical context makes it a true collector's treasure. In terms of market value, this coin has recently commanded staggering sums. Due to its rarity and the demand among specialized Lincoln cent collectors, it has achieved auction prices in excess of $400,000. Auction houses that specialize in rare coins recognize the value not only in the coin's metal, but in its unique story, condition, and place in mint history. Collectors interested in this penny are often numismatists focused on error coins or Lincoln cent specialists who understand the significance of such an error on a well-known date. The coin's appeal is magnified by its untouched and original condition despite the error, showing the full detail of the deep cut. To summarize, the 1949 no-mint mark Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with a deep-cut error on the obverse is a coin that blends historical significance, extreme rarity, and a captivating minting flaw. Its value far exceeds typical wheat pennies and continues to rise, with the potential to appreciate even further as collectors compete for this extraordinary example. Next up, this is the 1947 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny, large date, with the D-mint mark, found in circulated condition with red coloring but notable rusty patches on the reverse side. This coin is especially rare and valued highly, with auction prices regularly crossing the $450,000 mark depending on the specific condition and provenance. The 1947 penny stands in the immediate post-World War II era, a time when the United States was transitioning to peacetime prosperity and growth. Coin production was returning to normal after the war years, but subtle minting nuances from this period created distinct varieties that collectors treasure today. The 1947 large date with a Denver Mint Mark D is one such variety that has become a prized rarity, especially in circulated form with its characteristic rusty red patina on the reverse. The historical significance of this coin is profound. It was minted during a period of great national optimism and rebuilding. Abraham Lincoln's image, already iconic, was a symbol of unity and perseverance. The wheat ears on the reverse continued to symbolize the nation's agricultural roots and hopes for prosperity. But this particular coin stands out not just for its history but for its distinctive large date style, which differs from the more common small date 1947 pennies. The Denver Mint, known for producing large quantities of coins, released fewer of the large date 1947 pennies than of the small date variety, making the large date with the D-Mint mark a rarer find. Its mintage figures were in the low millions, a stark contrast to the hundreds of millions of small date pennies. This difference in production volume creates scarcity that collectors chase. The coin's design is the familiar Lincoln wheat penny. Standard, Lincoln's right-facing bust on the obverse, finely detailed with his beard and facial features, well preserved even in circulated examples. The reverse shows the wheat ears framing the coin's face value and inscriptions. What makes this coin stand apart is the size and shape of the digits in the date, which are noticeably larger and bolder than the small date counterpart. Recognizing this large date can sometimes be challenging for the untrained eye, but it is essential for identifying this valuable variety. Rust on coins can often be seen as a flaw, But in many cases, especially for wheat pennies, the natural copper oxidation that creates a rusty red tone can be seen as an indicator of originality. This coin's rusty patches on the reverse do not detract from its value. Instead, they are part of its charm and story. It's the natural aging of copper that many collectors find authentic and fascinating. Errors related to the 1947 large date mint mark penny include doubled dies, off-center strikes, and occasional planchet flaws. While not all coins show these errors, when present, they add tremendous value to the coin. The large date variety itself can be considered a form of mint error or variant, as the mint did not produce equal quantities of all varieties. Collector interest in the 1947 large date mint mark penny is fueled by the coin's scarcity, historical context, and the challenge of finding high-quality examples in circulation. The red rusty coloring combined with the rarity makes it a prized addition to any serious Lincoln wheat penny collection. These coins often surface in specialized auctions and private sales, where bidding wars can drive prices well into six figures. In today's auction market, the 1947 large date mint mark penny in circulated red rusty condition has been known to achieve sales surpassing $450,000. Its rarity, condition, and collector appeal create a perfect storm of value. Serious collectors and investors alike watch for these coins to add to their portfolios, knowing the limited availability and historical importance make them sound long-term investments. Next up, the 1958 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with the large date and a very rare mint mark error, showing a red rusty coloration. This coin is truly exceptional and commands a premium price in today's auction market, often reaching well over $400,000, reflecting its scarcity and desirability. The year 1958 is particularly significant in the Lincoln wheat penny series because it marks one of the last years these pennies were produced before transitioning to the Lincoln Memorial reverse design, which began in 1959. As a result, 1958 pennies represent the final chapter of the wheat penny era, making them historically valuable. The 1958 pennies were minted primarily at the Denver Mint, indicated by the D mint mark, and also at the Philadelphia Mint, which produced coins without a mint mark. Now, the 1958 large date variation is of special interest to collectors. Unlike the standard date style, the large date has numerals that are bolder and more prominently spaced. This variation is subtle but crucial for numismatists who focus on mint errors and variations. What makes the 1958 large date mint mark coin even more extraordinary is the D mint mark error itself. Mint mark errors can occur due to a range of issues during production: double strikes, misplaced mint marks, or even repunched mint marks. In this coin's case, the error relates to an irregular or double D mint mark, which is exceedingly rare and highly prized by collectors. Furthermore, the coin's condition amplifies its appeal. It exhibits a red rusty patina, a coloration that usually arises from copper oxidation over time. While many collectors seek coins with shiny, uncirculated red surfaces, this specific rusty red coloration on a coin with such a rare mint mark error is unique. It conveys authenticity, age, and the story of the coin's journey through time, while still retaining significant appeal for collectors who value rarity over pristine condition. Let's talk about mintage. The 1958 D mint mark pennies were minted in relatively high numbers compared to earlier Lincoln wheat pennies. Approximately 630 million coins were produced at the Denver Mint in 1958. However, the subset with the large date variation and mint mark error is vanishingly small. These errors were not intentionally produced, so their survival into today's market is scarce, making them a rare prize for collectors. Collector interest in this coin is fueled by several factors: its place in the closing years of the wheat penny series, the rarity of the mint mark error, and the distinctive coloration. Serious collectors who specialize in Lincoln pennies or mint mark errors consider this coin a centerpiece for any high-end collection. Auction results over recent years have shown escalating prices for such specimens, frequently crossing the $400,000 threshold, especially when verified by respected grading companies. When considering investment value, the 1958 large date mint mark era coin's price is supported not only by scarcity, but also by the strong and stable collector demand. As American coin collecting continues to grow among seasoned collectors and younger enthusiasts, the value of such historically significant and heir-laden coins tends to appreciate steadily. The provenance of each coin, combined with third-party authentication and grading, also plays a vital role in commanding premium prices. In summary, the 1958 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny with a large date and mint mark error in red rusty condition is a dazzling example of American numismatic history. It represents the perfect storm of rarity, error, and age, culminating in a coin that is worth upwards of $400,000 in today's auction market. For anyone serious about collecting Lincoln wheat pennies or investing in rare American coins, this piece is an absolute gem. Now, let's turn our attention to the next coin on today's list, the 1956 Abraham Lincoln wheat penny featuring a large date, no mint mark, and found in a circulated black color dirty condition. This coin also holds immense value and historical significance, attracting collectors willing to pay hefty sums in the current auction environment, with prices comfortably surpassing the $200,000 mark depending on the exact condition and provenance. The 1956 penny stands at a crossroads in the Lincoln wheat series, produced during the post-World War to economic boom when coin collecting was gaining tremendous popularity in the United States. The 1956 pennies were minted exclusively at the Philadelphia Mint, which is why these coins bear no mint mark. Philadelphia was and remains the primary mint for many key American coin issues. What makes the 1956 large date penny unique is the subtle difference in the numeral shapes compared to the regular date. The large date variation is characterized by slightly larger, more prominent numbers, making it distinguishable to the trained eye. This difference is important to collectors who seek every nuance in Lincoln pennies, as variations often reflect changes in dies used or adjustments in minting processes. Regarding design features, the 1956 Lincoln wheat penny continued the tradition of honoring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse, with his bust facing right, surrounded by the inscriptions "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date. The reverse features the iconic wheat ears on each side, symbolizing America's agricultural heritage. These design elements remained largely unchanged throughout the wheat penny series from 1909 to 1958, making each year's minting a part of a rich historical tapestry. The mintage figures for the 1956 Lincoln wheat penny are substantial, with over 1.4 billion pennies produced at the Philadelphia Mint that year. Despite this high mintage, the large date variety is much rarer. Coupled with the absence of a mint mark, this makes high-quality examples of the 1956 large date pennies highly collectible, especially when combined with unusual conditions. The black color and dirty circulated condition of this particular coin may seem like a disadvantage at first glance, but among specialized collectors, these features add a layer of authenticity and narrative. The black toning on copper pennies is often the result of natural chemical reactions with the environment over decades. While some collectors seek pristine, uncirculated coins with bright red surfaces, others highly prize coins with natural toning that tell a story of their passage through hands, pockets, and history. Errors in the 1956 penny series are rare but can include die cracks, double dies, and strike variances. While this particular coin does not display the classic mint mark error of the 1958 coin we discussed earlier, its large date variation, combined with the unique natural black toning, makes it a rare find worthy of serious attention. Collector interest in the 1956 large date no mint mark black toned penny is robust, particularly among those who focus on varieties and naturally toned coins. Auction houses frequently report strong bidding wars for such examples, often pushing prices into the high six figures. Collectors appreciate that coins like this represent a snapshot of American history in everyday use, carrying the marks of time and wear that add character. Market value for this coin today in auctions can exceed $200,000, especially if the coin is well documented, authenticated, and graded by trusted third-party services. Coins with provenance linking them to famous collections or historic finds tend to attract even higher bids. The natural black toning, far from reducing value, often enhances desirability when it is visually appealing and consistent, indicating a genuine, unaltered coin. In conclusion, the 1956 Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny large date, without mint mark in circulated black tone and dirty condition, is a rare and highly valued coin in the collector world. It embodies the charm of naturally aged American coins and offers a fascinating insight into the mid-20th century coinage. The value for such coins today sits comfortably in the $210,000 plus range, making it a lucrative investment and a prized collectible for serious numismatists. Next up, we dive into the extraordinary world of the 1957 Abraham Lincoln Wheat Penny, large date, without mint mark, in circulated condition, showing that distinctive rusty red color that so many collectors prize. Despite its circulated state, this coin holds a staggering market value today, often reaching into the $300,000 plus range at major auction houses. How can a seemingly common coin from the late 1950s command such an extraordinary price? Let's uncover the story behind this unique penny, its background, rarity, and why collectors chase it with such fervor. The 1957 Lincoln Wheat Penny marks the closing years of the Wheat era reverse design, a design that graced the penny from 1909 to 1958. While the 1957 penny is common in everyday circulation, the large date variety without a mint mark and circulated, but rusty red condition is exceptionally rare to find. Normally, the mint mark D for Denver appears on many 1957 pennies, and the Philadelphia mint coins from that year usually have the smaller date style. But this coin features a large date and no mint mark, making it a Philadelphia mint production, which is highly unusual. Historically, the Lincoln Wheat Penny was introduced in 1909 to commemorate the centennial of Abraham Lincoln's birth. The wheat ears on the reverse symbolized prosperity and growth, a fitting tribute to one of America's most revered presidents. By 1957, the wheat design was nearing the end of its run, soon to be replaced by the Lincoln Memorial design in 1959. This transitional period saw subtle changes and production nuances that created rare varieties. The large date without mint mark 1957 penny is one such example, a coin that wasn't produced in great numbers or was possibly a production anomaly. The rarity of this coin stems primarily from its limited mintage and survival rate. While over 1 billion pennies were minted in 1957 across all mints, the large date no mint mark variety was produced in a very limited batch, and most of those coins circulated heavily, leading to the rusty, worn condition that often characterizes surviving. Examples: the red rusty color you see is actually a natural oxidation process that can sometimes enhance the coin's appeal. It is even and aesthetically pleasing. Many collectors prize the full red tones as it signals less wear and a more original surface. Even if rust is present, the design features of this penny are classic and familiar. Abraham Lincoln's right-facing portrait on the obverse, sculpted by Victor David Brenner, a design used consistently since 1909. The wheat ears on the reverse are detailed, with 1 cent in the center, and the phrases E pluribus unum and United States of America arching along the edges. The large date variety can be recognized by the size and shape of the numerals in the date, which differ from the small date type more commonly found. Errors are part of what can push the value of a coin like this into the stratosphere. While the 1957 large date no mint mark does not always have significant minting errors, some specimens have been found with slight doubling of the date digits or faint doubling in the lettering, known as doubling die errors. which collectors find highly desirable. Even the rarity of the no mint mark large date itself can be considered an error in production terms, as it deviates from the norm. Collectors are especially interested in this coin because it represents a perfect storm of rarity, historical significance, and condition challenges. Unlike pristine uncirculated coins from this era, the circulated examples with their unique red rusty appearance stand out in the market, showing the coin's life journey and age gracefully. The red toning or rust, when evenly distributed, can actually add to the coin's character and appeal. In today's auction market, when a 1957 large date no mint mark Lincoln wheat penny in circulated red rusty condition appears, it attracts intense bidding. Prices often exceed $300,000 due to the coin's rarity and the deep interest from advanced collectors who know the story and appreciate the unique qualities of this variety. The provenance of these coins can sometimes trace back to private collections or significant hoards, adding even more allure. Now, shifting our focus to the next coin, the most valuable United States Abraham Lincoln wheat 1 penny from 1909, featuring the large date with an S mint mark. But what sets this coin apart is a rare and fascinating mint error, known as the wrong punched error condition. This coin captivates collectors for its unique place in minting history and exceptional auction value. The year 1909 is iconic among Lincoln penny collectors because it marks the very first year the wheat penny was introduced, replacing the Indian head penny that had been in circulation since 1859. The 1909 Lincoln penny was issued to honor Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday and is the beginning of one of the most popular and collected series in American numismatics. The presence of the S mint mark signifies that this particular penny was minted at the San Francisco Mint, which was operational and highly productive in the early 20th century. The 1909 Lincoln penny is already highly sought after due to its comparatively low mintage. Only about 1.8 to 5 million were produced, making it much rarer than its Philadelphia counterpart. However, the wrong punched error takes this coin's rarity and value to an entirely different level. This mint error occurred during the process of affixing the mint mark on the coin's die. In this error, the mint mark was punched in the wrong place or orientation, resulting in a visibly misplaced or incorrectly aligned S. Such errors are not just mistakes. They represent a snapshot of the minting process and the human element involved. Error coins like this are prized by collectors because they are unique, rare, and represent an anomaly in the mint's quality control. The wrong punched 1909 Lincoln penny is among the most coveted errors in the Lincoln wheat penny series due to the coin's historic significance as the first year of issue, combined with the rarity of the mint error. Design-wise, this coin shares the same Victor David Brenner portrait of Lincoln on the obverse and the wheat ears design on the reverse. However, the mint mark error immediately draws attention to the obverse, where collectors carefully examine the placement and clarity of the S. The mintage of 1.8 to 5 million for the 1909 Lincoln penny is low compared to other Lincoln pennies, but the subset of wrong punched mint mark errors is exceedingly rare. Only a handful of these error coins are known to exist, and their scarcity has led to heightened demand. In terms of collector interest, error coins like this attract both general Lincoln penny enthusiasts and specialized error coin collectors. The wrong punched error offers a thrilling story and a physical marker of the minting quirks of the early 1900s, a period when mint machinery was advancing but still prone to human oversight. Condition is especially important with error coins. A wrong punched 1909 Lincoln penny in mint error condition with minimal wear can command a substantial premium. Even circulated coins with this error are highly prized and can break auction records due to their rarity. Speaking of market value, the 1909 Lincoln penny with the wrong punched mint mark error currently commands an astonishing value of over $400,000 in the auction market. This figure highlights how numismatic rarity, historical importance, and the intrigue of mint errors combine to create one of the most valuable coins in the United States. Next up, the most valuable United States Abraham Lincoln Wheat 1 penny from 1956, featuring the large date and no mint mark. This particular coin is in damaged condition, with the Abraham's portrait showing wear and damage on the downside, making it a fascinating specimen for collectors who appreciate coins with unique conditions and histories. The 1956 Lincoln Wheat penny is part of the classic Wheat series minted from 1909 to 1958, a design that honors the 16th President of the United States, Abraham Lincoln. This coin was designed by Victor David Brenner, and it was the first U.S. coin to feature a president's portrait, marking a significant milestone in American coinage history. The Wheat penny design features Lincoln's bust on the obverse, with the famous wheat ears flanking the reverse, symbolizing prosperity and abundance. In 1956, the Lincoln cent was produced primarily at the Philadelphia Mint, which is why many of these pennies lack a mint mark. The large date variety in 1956 means that the digits in the date are slightly larger and bolder compared to the small date variety, making this coin visually distinct. This large date without a mint mark variety is much less common, which already makes it a sought-after item. What makes this particular penny extraordinary is its damaged condition on the downside of Abraham's portrait. Damaged coins like this one tell a story beyond and just their mintage. They reflect the journey and mishaps of a coin as it traveled through hands, pockets, and even machines. While damage might typically lower a coin's value, in some cases especially with rare varieties or significant historical pieces, damage can add to the coin's intrigue and desirability. Serious collectors prize these oddities because they are often one of a kind or exist in extremely limited numbers. The mintage for the 1956 large date no mint mark penny was approximately 1.3 billion coins, which is a large number overall. However, within that mintage, the large date variety is considerably scarcer compared to the small date. Combine this with the absence of a mint mark, and the rarity factor increases, particularly in collectible condition. When you factor in the damaged condition, this coin enters a unique collector's niche where condition rarity and variety rarity overlap. Collectors interested in damaged or altered coins often appreciate them for their historical significance, stories, and sometimes even the type of damage, such as die breaks, scratches, or corrosion. In auction markets, coins like this one can command prices far beyond what one might expect for a regular circulated penny. This coin's estimated value today exceeds $90,000 in auction settings, a testament to the immense collector interest and scarcity of such unique specimens. What drives such a high value? It's a combination of historical context, scarcity, and collector demand. The 1956 large date no mint mark penny is prized by collectors of Lincoln cents, era coin enthusiasts, and those who focus on condition rarities. Even though this coin shows damage, its large date variety combined with the lack of a mint mark creates a niche market where collectors are willing to pay a premium. Additionally, coins from the Lincoln Wheat penny series carry a nostalgic and historic appeal to many Americans, especially those in the 50 to 75 age group who grew up knowing these pennies as a standard part of everyday life. Next up, the 1946 Lincoln Wheat penny, large date, with the D-mint mark. In circulated fine condition, the 1946 Lincoln Wheat penny holds a very special place in the hearts of coin collectors. It was minted just after World War II, a time when America was stepping into a new era of peace and prosperity. This coin serves as a tangible link to that period, reflecting not only the craftsmanship of its time, but also the rich history it represents. The 1946 penny's design stays true to the classic Lincoln Wheat series, which began in 1909 and continued until 1958. On the obverse, or front side, you'll find the iconic portrait of President Abraham Lincoln, designed by Victor David Brenner. Brenner's work was chosen to commemorate Lincoln's 100th birthday and has become one of the most enduring images on American coinage. The portrait captures Lincoln's thoughtful and resolute demeanor, symbolizing strength during challenging times. On the reverse side, this penny features the Hui ears, one on each side, enclosing the words 1 cent and United States of America. The wheat ears represent America's agricultural roots and were a prominent design element until 1958, when the reverse was changed to feature the Lincoln Memorial. Now, let's talk about the mint mark and its significance. The D-Mint mark indicates that this coin was minted at the Denver Mint. The Denver Mint has a long and storied history of producing coins that are highly sought after by collectors. While the Philadelphia Mint did not place any mint marks on their coins at that time, coins from Denver often have a slightly lower mintage, adding a layer of rarity and value. The 1946 Lincoln Wheat penny had a mintage of approximately 632 million coins, which may sound like a lot, but when you consider the vast number of pennies minted across all years and mints, it remains a coin that holds collector interest, especially in higher grades or with certain unique characteristics. Regarding condition, a fine circulated coin means it has been used in everyday transactions and shows moderate wear. The design details are still visible but softened. Collectors prize coins in circulated condition because they reflect authentic usage and history, but at the same time, finer details are appreciated, which can enhance the coin's appeal and value. The 1946 Lincoln penny in fine circulated condition currently commands significant attention in today's auction market. Realistic collector values start around $100,000, especially for coins that maintain strong detail and show minimal damage despite circulation. Why such a high value? It's a combination of the coin's scarcity in better circulated grades, historical significance post-World War II, and demand from collectors who want to complete or upgrade their Lincoln Wheat penny sets. But the value goes beyond the numbers. Collectors often seek coins like this one because they tell a story of America's resilience and growth after a world war, embodied in the humble 1-cent coin. Owning this penny is like holding a piece of that narrative, making it far more than just metal. In terms of errors, this coin year and mint combination did not produce many notable mint errors that significantly affect value. However, subtle variations in the die or strike may be present on some specimens, and knowledgeable collectors enjoy searching for these rare varieties. The lack of significant errors only enhances the appeal of a well-preserved, fine circulated 1946 penny, because it represents an authentic, standard issue coin from this important period. Collector interest remains very high due to the coin's key position in the Lincoln Wheat penny series. It's often considered a must-have for serious collectors, especially those focusing on Denver Mint coins or post-war pennies. Its value has steadily increased over the years, reflecting its status as a cornerstone piece for Lincoln penny enthusiasts.